Let's talk about one aspect of general election 2024 in Ireland. I was scrolling through my Twitter feed there at lunchtime, as I generally do, just to get a feel for what's going on, what's happening and so on. And I came across a tweet there from a guy in the Irish Times, Conor Gallagher. He says, far-right candidates failed to break through, defying global trends. And then I came across further tweets. One of them was to do with the vote-getting ability or performance of a list of candidates, and the question was asked, did they lose their deposits? And the other one then was from a man called Dr. Pirish Henry. There's a list of far-right candidates there in another tweet, or a number of tweets, ranging from including Gavin Pepper, Mal Steenson, Derek Bly, Nick Della Haney, Patrick Quinlan, Jan McOrachtig, Niall McConnell, Paul Fitzsimons, Philip Sutcliffe, Ben Gilroy, Dolores Webster, Cathy Lynch, Brian Garrigan, Ben Gilroy again, Philip Dwyer, Kevin Coyle, Alan Sweeney. These people are described as far-right candidates, and the percentage of first preferences that they've gained is listed in the image, and I'll put the image up on the screen, and it ranges from 3.1% down to 0.4%, and only half of them actually got 1% or more. So the argument is being made by many people that these people were purporting to represent 90% of the population, when in fact, when people got into the sanctity of the voting booths, the polling booths, they clearly didn't represent 90% or anything like it. In fact, 9% would have been good. As I say, the top one there is Gavin Pepper, 3.1%, and the bottom is 0.4%. Now, there was another tweet then from a man called Dr. Pirish McHenry. I want to see what he has to say. The Pirish McHenry's tweet there is, and I'll put it up on the screen as well to have a look at, the far right has been destroyed in general election 2024. The government should not respond to racist rhetoric, but should be more sensitive to people in disadvantaged areas instead of allowing the weaponization of hate. And here's a picture then of far-right fizzle, fringe candidates face disappointment as election results come in. And here's a picture of Philip Dwyer there, I think the fella's name is. I'll put that tweet up on the screen there as well, you can have a look at it. But the question is he right? Has the far right or been routed, been destroyed in general election 24? Is the fact that the immigration topic, the immigration problem, has dominated so much of the media over the last 6 months or 12 months, has that been a reflection of the willingness of people to simply make noise on social media, and that the quiet majority don't see the great difficulty with the immigration issue? And the exit poll obviously on the day of the election showed that only 6% of the population saw immigration as being the number one priority for them. Is the fact that these people, these individuals, that the fact that they're more willing to engage in social media, Twitter and all sorts of social media antics, have they actually given an incorrect image, a disproportionate image of the actual problem or how people feel, etc.? And we've seen photographs of these people claiming to represent 90% of the population, when in fact, when the polls opened and people got into the ballot boxes or got into the polling booths to submit their vote to the ballot box, it was a very, very different question, a very, very different outcome. And clearly Fianna Fáil are the big winners, Fine Gael are winners, Sinn Féin are winners, and none of those parties were actually, could be described as far right or right wing or anti-immigration, etc. Obviously they've work to do in terms of sorting out the management of international protection, asylum seekers and so on. But I'd be interested to hear your view as to whether you believe this man, Piers McHenry, is correct when he says that the far right has been destroyed in general election 2024. And I'll just have a look. I want to save that. You'll see there that that man, Piers McHenry, is a former diplomat, and he's interested in Irish politics, geography, cyclist, Gaeilgeoir interests, migration, Middle East, geopolitics, etc. Anyway, there are a couple of views that I've taken off Twitter, but they reflect a certain view that the far right have been wiped out or decimated in the general election 2024. What's your view? Will they continue to grow, or have they been like an empty vessel, capable of, far more noise than is actually warranted? And has the immigration problem, or so-called problem, been disproportionately blown up as a consequence of efforts on social media rather than real concerns of the real people, the real electorate? Finally, there's one other thing I need to clarify there, and it's come to my attention that there is at least one person on that list who's not a right-winger or anti-immigrant person. At least that's Nick it's spelled Delahanty on the list. It's incorrectly spelled. The guy's name is Nick Delahanty. He was an independent, or is an independent, and ran for election. Don't think he should be on that list. Don't think he's a right-wing anti-immigrant person. I think he probably is a left-wing person, not sure, but I don't think he should be on the list. I think that's probably a mistake. So, two other points to be made before I wrap up this video. One is other parties to do well in the election, general election 24, where the Social Democrats and Labour, they did quite well, especially the Social Democrats, but Labour did well too. And both of those parties would have more liberal, more left-wing, more so-called woke view of immigration, and they did well. And finally, Jerry Hutch the monk, gave Dublin Central a real run in terms of winning a seat there. And Malachy Steenson, one of the anti-immigrant right-wing persons who ran for the election, blames Jerry Hutch for causing him to lose out. And funnily enough, I think Hutch had a more liberal, more left-wing view about immigration than Malachy Steenson or any of the other people on the list there at the beginning of this video. So I'd be interested to hear your views down below. Thanks a lot.